Let's get right to it, Rob. We have the sound of last night's controversial call in the LA Dodgers 2-1 win over the San Francisco Giants. Here it is.
0-2. Scherzer to Flores. Just outside. He went around. Strike three. Gabe Morales, the first base umpire. The Dodgers are going to the National League Championship Series.
That was Dodgers radio, Rob, and even he didn't believe it. You could
that
tell.
call tells you all you need to know.
Right.
And that you would be like, if you were a Dodger announcer, you could have been a homer and been like, he went, that's it. You know what I mean?
Right.
He said it's a bit outside. He didn't even insinuate or even give you the idea that he went around. And Chris, it was a great game. It takes away just a little. It takes away from, because you don't want it to end that way, where the talk was about the controversial check
because
swing.
It is, unfortunately. Because
it is. That's all everybody talked about today, rather than the Dodgers winning 2-1 in a really gut check kind of series and game and the edge of your seat. You knew somebody was going to be heartbroken because it was close. It's different if somebody blows somebody out and you know early you're going to lose. Nobody knew what was going to happen, right? Until the very, very end.
Absolutely, man. Edge of your seat. And I'm going to give credit to a few people. Dodgers outfielder,
you know who that was,
Mookie
though?
Betts.
That was Charlie Steiner, who does the Dodger game.
Right.
Chris,
right,
that's Charlie Steiner.
Right. But Mookie Betts, who had a tremendous game, 4 for 4, stolen base, and the run, or one run for the Dodgers.
Right, he scored the first run, right?
Yeah. Here's his quote on the call. I didn't think he went, but I'm not the one who makes the decisions. It is what it is. I give Mookie credit for being honest, because I don't think he went either. I think it was obvious that he didn't go.
Do you remember the famous Michael Jordan one, where Michael Jordan, I think it's when he came back, Chris. It was some playoff series where he fouled the guy. He pushed the guy, and they didn't call it. And Michael Jordan said the same exact thing. Like, I fouled him. I don't know what you want me to do. I fouled him. They didn't call it. You know what I mean? Like,
is it my fault? Right.
And Mookie Betts is being out. I don't think he went. I don't think anybody on the field thought he went. I don't think Max Scherzer thought he went. Obviously, Charlie Steiner, the broadcaster, didn't think he went. And this is what
swings,
happens.
And the official said this, the umpire or the referee. Check swings are definitely hard to call, but I don't think that one was particularly hard.
No, that to me was obvious.
Yeah, that was obvious. Now, Gabe Kapler, the Giants manager, I give him credit too. He said it's super tough. Obviously, you don't want a game to end that way. There's no guarantee of success in that at bat, but it's just a tough way to end it. I give him credit because he could have ranted and raved, and he would have been within his rights, Rob, to rant and rave about we got robbed, this and that. It was unfair. This is unbelievable. The league wanted the Dodgers. They're the big, big team.
They could have made that stink.
Or they got the star. So I give him credit for, being showing sportsmanship. Let's put it that way.
And I'll say this, because I'm with you. Because it was more like the Giants went 2 for 90 with runners in scoring position. Chris, they had guys on base.
Yep.
The first two innings when the Dodgers were using their relievers instead of their
They were very fortunate to get out of that with no runs.
You saw that.
They were tagging them.
They were tagging them, hitting balls off the wall. They just couldn't get a big clutch hit. But they easily could have been up 2-0 or 3-0 in those first two innings. They had guys on base.
Right.
At one point, and I'm exaggerating, 2 for 90, but at one point I remember seeing the graphic. It said they were 2 for 25 with runners in scoring position.
Unbelievable.
You got to get a couple of hits.
I knew that. I think that probably played a little role in his comment. And Rob, one thing I didn't like hearing today. Flores probably would have struck out. We don't know.
You don't know
How many times do you see a guy you don't how about Bellinger?
Yep.
Who's having a bad year? He's been the hero.
All year.
He's been the hero of the postseason for them. So, you don't know. This dude might have homered. He might have singled in the run. Like, who knows what he would have done?
He could have hit a double and tied the game.
So,
Do you know what I mean? He could have doubled. You don't have to even hit a home. He could have doubled.
Yep.
Somebody could have misplayed a ball and Mookie Betts lost it in the lights. You just don't know if you make contact. So for people to say, "Oh, he's going to strike out anyway," I don't know about that.
You can't,
I think that's wrong.
And I think you got to let it be decided on the field.
Didn't he have 2 hits? He had 1 or 2 hits in the game. I know he had been hitting for them. So I don't believe in that either. That you're going to forecast he was going to strike out anyway.
I think what you need to do, Rob, and nobody wants to see balls and strikes replayed, but I think there should be, I don't know what to call it, common sense clause, whatever. Like, give your officials in New York jurisdiction to use common sense. If at the end of the game, the last few innings, if you want to say 7, 8, 9, whatever, that if there's a play that deserves to be replayed or reviewed, that they have the jurisdiction in New York to say, let's review this. Because I do get what the referee was saying,
Umpire.
Morales. Yeah, that he said it's the toughest call on the field, and he thought he went, but he didn't get to see the replays like we did, right?
Right, but
so I get it in real time. So I think you should. I just think you need to make a law. It's common sense. Just let them. We're not going to be replaying every call, but let it be
because we'll be there all night. We'll be there
you don't
all
want
night.
Balls and strikes.
No,
but something like that. Come on,
I get that, and it has to be like this, Chris, where you watch it, not replay it like 40 times to make a call. So you have to watch it on video, right, and then make the call. If it's got to be,
well, I wouldn't say you can only watch.
No,
it once.
I'm gonna tell you why. Because we see this all the time. They do it with stolen bases. Guy steals second base. The fielder holds the glove on him, Chris, and then he comes up for a millisecond off the base, and they call him out. That's not what that's for.
That shouldn't even be right.
Do you see what I'm saying? Like it shouldn't be because that's just.
I think they should outlaw that rule anyway.
They should.
When your momentum carries you off the base, you got there.
You got there before the tag, and he keeps the tag on you, and they call people out and say, "Look, his spike was off the bag like a milli."
Your momentum takes you off the bag to a degree. I just think the answer to that, Rob, is getting rid of that rule because that's ridiculous. Like
I
you
hate
said,
to
it's
see
totally
that.
against the spirit of the game. But I just think I don't know. I wouldn't want to limit it to one look. Because you just want to get it right.
I just don't. But I don't want it. I don't want it to be there for
course.
20 minutes. Is what I'm saying. Like that's the biggest problem I have with replay, is that it should be obvious. And Chris, if it's not obvious when you look at it, if it's not obvious, his foot was off the bag. It's obvious, and you just boom. You don't need to watch it 10 times. If it should be an obvious play.
But sometimes stuff is close.
No, I get it. And I'm not. And
this
what I mean by that,
particularly close, but
I just think that this was a blown call, and it's a shame because I do think it took away from the game. And that's disappointing that the focus was on a check swing after we saw a classic 9-inning thriller, 2-1, changes, guys on base, clutch moments. Like there was a lot of spots in that game.
Yep.
I don't know.
Yep. All right.